Hey there, we are covering conflicts of interest in this chapter, attorneys, ACLU, NRTL, and adoptees. So, Lori Carangelo starts with the quote from Archibald Cox, who was a special Watergate prosecutor, with "A right is not a right in America unless it is enjoyed by all Americans." Okay. Despite their dedication to upholding the Bill of Rights, lawyers, particularly those organized, present a conflict of interest for adoptees seeking to access their own information. Class actions challenging sealed adoption records have reached the United Supreme Court. They were Alma Society versus Mellon in 79, Yesterday's Children versus Kennedy in 1977, and Carangelo, Shafrick, and al. Versus O'Neill, State of Connecticut, the Children's Center, versus Connecticut, the Children's Center and al. Of 1993, and denied certiorari in 94. The general consensus among attorneys has been that the politically Supreme Court is not ready to decide the constitutionality of these laws, much less the constitutionality of adoption itself. To declare adoption unconstitutional could possibly nullify the past 8 decades of adoptions in America. Sorry guys, it's been quite a day. National Academy of Adoption Attorneys, NAAA, and National Conference of Commissioners and on Uniform State Laws, NCCUSL. What do sperm cell and an attorney have in common? They both have 1,000,000 to 1 chance of becoming a human being. The author is unknown. The National Academy of National Adoption Attorneys, NAAA, has consistently lobbied against open records legislation. To entangle the complex web of attorney conflict of interest in the adoption arena, one must be aware that almost any practicing civil law attorney may derive income from facilitating adoptions or may represent an adoption agency. Its insurers and or wide range of adoption-related matters in closed and open adoptions, domestic and intercountry adoptions, gay and lesbian adoptions, surrogate donor offspring adoptions, and even embryo adoptions. They usually represent the party who pays, typically the adopter, and so may present a conflict of interest to the adoptee. Even jailhouse lawyers such as Everett Osborne, who wrote Amfor from Airway Heights Correctional Facility in Washington State, can and do facilitate adoptions for prison staff through their paralegal work. In most states, adoptions lawyers represent both the relinquishing parents and the adopters, those who pay the attorney fees for such dual representation. Despite the competing interests of the parties, presents a conflict of interest. So adoptive parents pay, usually they agree to pay for the same lawyer who represents both parties, which is actually illegal in all other cases. So quite interesting that they allow this in the adoption industry. But of course, it's an industry. That's $14.1 billion in just. So what a surprise. The American Bar Association, ABA, agrees that such dual representation is a conflict of interest, and that is according to their formal opinion in 87. Yet the decades-old practice of dual representation persists today. The National Conference of Commissioners on Uniform State Laws, NCCUSL. This is a body of 300 lawyers headquartered in Chicago, Illinois, which does not necessarily strive for fair laws, just laws that are the uniform from state to state. Like the Supreme Court, their political influence decision-making nationwide. Liberal views briefly prevailed when the original 1982 Draft Model Adoption Act proposed the policy that adoption is intended to serve the adoptee, and when irreconcilable conflicts arise, the adoptee's rights should prevail, and the adult adoptee is capable for deciding what is in their own welfare, including whether inspecting their own birth certificate in their best interest, and the adoptee's right to know should prevail over the presumed interest of the parent in remaining anonymous. Yet a decade later, in 1992, a conservative NCC-USL produced a Uniform Adoption Act which removes more rights of natural parents and adoptees, and bestows rights to adopters by recommending sealing of adoptees' true birth records for 99 years. Oh, I know someone who had to deal with that, is dealing with that. They will never be able to see their original. And making unauthorized family searches and contact with one's own biological relatives a felony crime. At least one lawyer went out of their way to support adoptees' right to know. As an attorney, I view the current laws in this country regarding adoption as reprehensible for the most part. Everyone should have the right to know who their biological parents are. No one should be subjected to being taken away from one's own biological parents due to the biological parent being in a stressful situation. When a child is born and pressured by social workers to give up all parental rights to the child, nor should any child be subjected to being given to an infertile couple who most likely sees adoptees as little more than commodities available to meet adopters' desires. Adoption law reform is long overdue, and that is from attorney Frank Ledbetter, Missouri. American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU. An open records policy was once cited by ACLU's now defunct Southwest Florida chapter, and has continued to be a disappearing act. The American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, and its foundation are funded by donation. It has more than 300,000 members with 53 affiliates and 200 chapters, which makes it the nation's foremost advocate of individual rights, including fundamental rights, by working through the courts, in the legislatures, and via public education. It would seem adoptees present a compelling case for their right to know their own origins or as an equal protection right. But the following demonstrates how ACLU not only does not support adoptees' right to know and even opposes it. Oh, okay. So Lori Carangelo then goes for a couple of pages about their what ACLU has said from 87 to 2011 going against our right to know. Then moving on, National Right to Life, NRLC, and adoptees. Adoption, not abortion, is National Right to Life bumper sticker. On the face, it sounds reasonable, but NRTL lacks resources or willingness to help parents wishing to keep their babies. So they have become an adoption agency by promoting secret adoption, as if adoption is the only alternative to abortion. Oh, this is something that we deal with as adoptees, and it's so annoying because they refuse to listen to us, and I am tired of it. I am honestly tired of it because they do not know how it feels to be adopted, and people do not listen to adoptees. They just want to shut us up, and I'm tired of it. I'm honestly just tired of it, guys. I know some of you understand how I feel as adoptees yourself, but it's like they just ignore our voices. We're crying for help and reform, and they ignore it. Okay, sorry, ranting here. Recently, 8 states passed the most restrictive abortion laws. Alabama's new law, which was in May of 2019, in effect totally bans abortion, not even exempting cases of rape of incest. Even some conservative Republicans admit that bills have gone too far, knowing the intention of getting the abortion issue a rehearing in the U.S. Supreme Court, now that President Trump has stacked the court with conservative justices in hope of overturning the long-held precedent established by Roe v. Wade. In Doe v. Bolton from Georgia, the second abortion test case at the same time as Roe v. Wade reached the Supreme Court, Sandra Cano, aka Doe, told AM4 that while media and the NRTL alleged she was denied an abortion, she in fact did not want an abortion and was pressured to adopt out her daughter instead. While some are accused of misusing abortion as a form of birth control, a survey by Americans for Open Records (AM4) for 1,000 mothers who had lost children to adoption revealed they would subsequently opt to either keep or abort rather than again suffer the lifelong pain of surrendering another child to an unknown fate through secret adoption. And this was posted on adoption.com in the article More Deception About Access, Abortion, and Adoption. Sex is not the only cause of pregnancy. A girl or a woman may want to have a child in order to have someone to love and to be loved in return. So the politicized issue of the pregnancy is not adequately addressed by simply offering birth control, abortion, or adoption, when what is needed is a family. Close adoption supporters cite the need for adoption to prevent dumpster babies. California's 2010 Resident Income Tax Form 540 asked taxpayers to donate to California's Safely Surrendered Baby Fund, implemented since 2001. Baby dumping became legal in California, Texas, and Florida in designated safe spaces. So basically, it's like now they call them safe havens, right? There are safe haven boxes now coming, which I think are a whole other ballgame, and should not exist for other reasons, and I will cover that another day. But basically, they're saying you can put your child in a place where they'll easily be found and they'll be okay. But the amount of times that actually happens is a rarity in America. Now, this did happen. However, this was common in like China when they had the one baby policy. And this did happen, but they were also, the parents, if they found out that what the parents were doing, were also jailed, I believe, during this time. I have to do more research, but that's what I've heard so far. And this is coming from adoptees who had been considered dumpster babies in China specifically. All right, so continuing on, in California, within 72 hours of the birth, a mother can surrender her baby anonymously or in person. If in person, the baby's ID bracket provides a match for the mothers to theoretically reclaim the baby within 14 days. It is not known how many of the 500 and such surrenders resulted in reunification of mother and child, as such laws keep outcomes confidential and fuel the adoption industry. In Together Again, Mom 17 gets baby infant she abandoned on church steps in 1989. Nina Bream, a teenager, did not know she was pregnant until delivery in her parents' bathtub. Panicked, she left the baby on a church doorstep. She got her baby back. There have been similar cases, but young mothers rarely actually get their babies back. So this is something that does happen. There's even a whole show about the not knowing that you were pregnant part. That's quite scary. A Freehold, New Jersey case involving a 21-year-old Melissa Drexler, dubbed the prom mom by media, said that she did not know she was pregnant and that the baby was stillborn. Woman pleads guilty to baby's prom death. The Desert Sun of Palm Springs in 98. In 2011, here it is. They're going to talk about it. TLC Network's TV series called I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant documents that such cases are not rare. What about drug-addicted mothers? There are alternatives to permanently separating drug-addicted mothers and her child through adoption. Born addicted to the drugs abused during her pregnancy, Rebecca lost her baby to CPS right after birth. Losing her baby prompted the 24-year-old to quit her amphetamine habit and stay in recovery home. 10 months later, she got her baby back. In 2011, the 30-year-old ABC Club is still one of only 2 recovery homes in Riverside County, California, to also offer a program for pregnant addicts. The program plans to add nurseries so the women can stay a short period after their deliveries to help bundle the extra stress of becoming a new mom and getting clean. Such facilities need to be available nationwide. And this was covered by Kelly Russell. ABC Club helps mothers to fight addiction. Also posted in the Desert Sun in 1990. Insurance companies and adoption. Since 1990, insurance companies, included Lloyd's of London, have been writing adoption cancellation insurance policies that cover adopters for certain eligible expenses they have paid if the biological parents change their mind. They now also cover foreign adoptions. Any financial assistance that the adopter or attorney provides to a biological mother is by law considered a charitable contribution. Although not tax dependent, coverage can be effective immediately. Although not tax deductible, dependent benefits to any child being adopted by the policy subscriber dependent coverage can be effective immediately upon the birth of a newborn, despite not being born to the adopter's subscriber. Increasing numbers of corporations now offer adoption benefits to their employees. This includes Apple Computer, Coca-Cola, Gannett, IBM, Time Warner, Disney, Wendy's International, and others provide their employees with time off for adoptions, financial assistance to adopt, some up to $5,000 to defray the cost of adoption. The Federal Family Leave Act now includes benefits for adoptive families. Okay, so I do think this is all wrong. Obviously, this is something that's been happening. There are also bills that have been passed through Congress where they do actually get that money back as adopters. There are also grants for adopters, and it's quite disgusting. We are treating children as commodities. Okay, I'm just going to say it out front, especially as an adoptee. It is gross. 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 Like, I don't get it.